Some Formula One teams arrive with huge budgets. Others arrive with famous names. Williams arrived with neither. There was no major manufacturer, no billionaire owner, no endless supply of money. Just one man, Sir Frank Williams, armed with determination, stubbornness, and an obsession with winning. Against all odds, Williams became one of the greatest teams Formula One has ever seen. They won 9 Constructors Championships, 7 Drivers' Championships, and helped shape the careers of some of the greatest drivers in history. But today, Williams aren't remembered for dominating Formula One. They're remembered for fighting just to escape the back of the grid. So, how did one of the greatest teams in Formula One history fall so far? This is the rise and the fall of Williams Racing. Long before Williams became champions, Frank Williams was simply trying to survive. His first Formula One team, Frank Williams Racing Cars, constantly struggled for money. Bills went unpaid. Equipment was outdated. Staff often worked with almost nothing, driven only by Frank's relentless belief that one day they could compete with the best. Eventually, the team was sold, leaving Frank without control of the operation that still carried his own name. For many people, that would have been the end. For Frank Williams, it was only the beginning. In 1977, alongside brilliant engineer Patrick Head, he founded Williams Grand Prix Engineering. Neither man could have imagined what would happen next. Success didn't arrive overnight. The first season produced just a handful of points, but behind the scenes, something special was being built. Patrick Head designed simple, reliable, and incredibly fast racing cars. Frank Williams built a culture where every single person mattered. There were no superstars inside the factory, only people chasing one goal: winning. Then, in 1979, everything changed. Clay Regazzoni delivered Williams' first ever Formula One victory at Silverstone. The celebrations weren't those of an established giant. They were the celebrations of a team that had finally proved they belonged. Just 1 year later, Alan Jones secured the Drivers' Championship, while Williams claimed their first Constructors' Championship. Only 3 years after the team had been founded, Williams were world champions. The impossible had become reality. The 1980s transformed Williams from champions into a Formula One powerhouse. Championships became almost expected. Keke Rosberg, Nelson Piquet, Nigel Mansell, some of the greatest drivers in Formula One history all raced in Williams machinery. But perhaps their biggest strength wasn't the drivers, it was engineering. Patrick Head constantly pushed innovation. Williams embraced new technology faster than almost anyone else. Active suspension, advanced aerodynamics, electronics. They weren't just following Formula One, they were helping redefine it. By the early 1990s, Williams had become the benchmark. Every team wanted to beat them. Very few could. Then came what many consider the greatest Formula One car ever built, the Williams FW14B. Driven by Nigel Mansell during the 1992 season, it was almost untouchable. Its active suspension allowed the car to remain perfectly balanced through corners. Combined with outstanding aerodynamics and a powerful Renault engine, the FW14B looked like it belonged to another generation. Mansell won 9 races. He wrapped up the World Championship with 5 races still remaining. Williams weren't just winning, they were dominating. For a while, it looked like nothing could stop them. Despite their incredible success, tragedy was never far away. In 1986, Frank Williams was involved in a devastating road accident while returning from testing in France. He suffered a spinal injury that left him paralyzed for the rest of his life. Many believed the team would never recover. Instead, Frank returned to work just months later, confined to a wheelchair, but just as determined as ever. His resilience became part of Williams' identity. No matter how difficult life became, giving up was never an option. The darkest chapter in Williams' history arrived in 1994. Senna had finally joined the team after years of trying to make the move happen. The expectation was simple: Williams and Senna would dominate Formula One together. Instead, just 3 races into the season, disaster struck. At the San Marino Grand Prix, Senna's car left the circuit at Tamburello, and hit the concrete wall at over 130 miles per hour. He later died from his injuries. The entire sport was left in mourning. Williams suddenly found themselves at the center of one of Formula One's darkest weekends. Although the team continued racing, everything had changed. No championship could erase what had happened. Even today, the image of Senna sitting in a Williams remains one of the most emotional in Formula One history. If you're enjoying the video so far, make sure to subscribe to the channel. We upload new Formula One documentaries every week, covering the incredible stories, controversies, and forgotten moments that shaped the sport. Because while Williams somehow recovered from one of the darkest weekends in Formula One history, their biggest challenge was still to come. Remarkably, Williams continued winning. Damon Hill came agonizingly close to the championship in 1994 before finally securing it in 1996. Then came Jacques Villeneuve. In 1997, Williams won another Drivers' Championship and another Constructors' Championship. At the time, nobody realized they had just witnessed the end of an era. Because after 1997, Williams would never win another World Championship. The decline wasn't immediate, it was gradual, almost invisible at first. Renault left Formula One. Adrian Newey departed for McLaren. Suddenly, Williams had lost two of the biggest ingredients behind their success. Then, in 2000, a new opportunity arrived. BMW joined Williams as their works engine partner, creating what many believed would become Formula One's next dominant force. BMW produced one of the most powerful engines on the grid, while Williams still had a reputation for designing exceptional chassis. The combination looked perfect. Together, they quickly became race winners. Juan Pablo Montoya thrilled fans with his fearless driving. Ralf Schumacher added more victories. By 2003, Williams were genuinely fighting Michael Schumacher and Ferrari for both world championships. For a moment, it felt like another golden era had begun, but it never happened. Behind closed doors, disagreements between Williams and BMW started to grow. Both sides believed the other wasn't delivering enough performance. The relationship slowly deteriorated until BMW made the decision to leave at the end of 2005, purchasing Sauber to create their own factory team. Williams suddenly found themselves searching for another way forward. From that point on, Formula One changed faster than Williams could keep up. Major manufacturers poured hundreds of millions into the sport. Ferrari, Renault, Toyota, Honda, Mercedes. Independent teams simply couldn't match those resources. Williams remained proudly independent. It was admirable, but it also became their greatest weakness. Year after year, the gap grew larger. There were still occasional highs. The Mercedes hybrid era brought podiums through Felipe Massa and Valtteri Bottas, briefly giving fans hope that Williams might be on their way back. But beneath the surface, the financial struggles never disappeared. The team simply couldn't invest at the same level as the giants around them. Then came 2018, and everything collapsed. Williams finished last in the Constructors' Championship. 1 year later, things became even worse. The 2019 car was so unprepared that it missed the opening days of pre-season testing. Imagine that. One of Formula One's greatest teams couldn't even finish building its car on time. On many weekends, they qualified several seconds slower than the rest of the field. Instead of chasing victories, Williams were simply trying not to finish last. For longtime Formula One fans, it was heartbreaking. Today, Williams are slowly rebuilding. Under new ownership, investment has returned. The team has modernized its facilities, improved recruitment, strengthened its technical department. And, year by year, they've started climbing back towards the midfield. The progress has been gradual, but for the first time in a long time, there is genuine optimism. Because Formula One is simply better when Williams are competitive. Not just because of their history, but because they represent something that barely exists anymore. An independent team that refused to stop believing. Williams have spent almost half of their existence proving people wrong. First, by becoming world champions when nobody expected them to. Then, by surviving tragedies that would have destroyed most teams. And now, by trying to climb back from the biggest fall in their history. Whether they ever win another world championship remains to be seen. But if Formula One has taught us anything, it's never count Williams out. Because if any team has earned one more chance, it's Williams. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another Formula One story. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.